Why do so few people visit Mongolia? Mongolia is far away, certainly for Western countries, and you'd have to come by plane or train via Russia or China, which are not always friendly or easy. Far away means expensive to get there. Of course. Mostly though, I think people associate Mongolia only with yurts, Genghis Khan and large open spaces, which can be interesting for camping or a trek. But you'd have to like that sort of thing. Frankly, I have no mental picture of Ulaanbaatar. TripAdvisor shows a few interesting things, but I think that Beijing or Moscow has a wider range of options for those who want to travel further away and see many different things. Those are my guesses anyway. I'm originally from Mongolia. It's just a huge Wyoming. Nothing special. Pain in the ass to get to. One of the most beautiful in the world? Wouldn't it be more popular if that were true? Is any part of the cuisine exceptional? It's a country most people hardly ever hear or think about in their daily lives. Because of that, most of us don't know a lot about it and what could make it a travel destination. There are 195 nations on this planet. It's normal that plenty of them aren't on people's radar. An acquaintance of mine visited maybe 15 years ago. He is a well-traveled person, and absolutely loved his trip. Loved the people, the scenery, the exotism of it, but he said he has never been so exhausted traveling to and from somewhere. From Quebec, he a few connections, an overnight in Beijing, another plane, a train, and a bus. Said he'd do it again, but no more than every 5 years. It was also very expensive, close to $15,000. Looking at Wikipedia, it seems extremely obvious. It's very remote, has almost nothing there, and has horrendous weather. I can scratch that itch in Wyoming and not have travel days to get there. Pretty much every section makes it clear why it's not popular. But the weather one especially. The annual average temperature in Ulaanbaatar is -1.3 degrees Celsius, 29.7 degrees Fahrenheit, making it the world's coldest capital city. Mongolia is high, cold and windy. It has an extreme continental climate with long, cold winters and short summers, during which most of its annual precipitation falls. Here in the States, going to France and eating blue cheese is considered an exotic vacation. Going halfway around the world to stay in a yurt and drinking kumas is a big ask. I lived there for 4 years. It's a super interesting country, but it's not easy. The food isn't really good. Isn't really much of a destination, and it's hard to get to. It's boring, especially if you don't know the language or have a guide. I've spent time working in Mongolia. It's not a fun place to visit. During winter it's so cold it burns your eyes. The food is awful. There is hardly any infrastructure outside of Ulaanbaatar, and there's no direct flights from most Western airports. It is a former poor communist Soviet puppet state turned poor Chinese puppet state. And it is super remote. Literally in the middle of nowhere. Mongolia just has a sort of old, dusty, Soviet feel to it, and its old history is long gone. The horse lords of Mongolia may have had a great impact on history, but they left nothing eyes can look at. Wood and wool tents make for bad archaeological sites. They should have learned from the places they invaded and built stone. A friend in college went and said the people were extremely welcoming and friendly. That Mongolian beef thaw. Isn't it cold year-round? It's quite an empty country. After Grand Tour went there, it's been on my list. The main issue is there are essentially only 2 cities, the rest are living in Soviet-era constructed villages or yurts out in the grassland. as a tourist unless you're interested in camping. That's a very expensive long journey to visit a small city. You must not wake them. They still got descendants of Genghis Khan there. It's my dream to go there, but I am dreading the food. I eat red meat like once per year and it makes me feel sick. I cannot imagine eating only red meat that, in addition to being red meat, is also very fatty. I am planning the trip within the next 34 years, so I will just have to get used to the thought, but it makes me much less excited about the country.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. IronicallyAugustus is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.